On 28th of February 2023, the Australian government announced from 1st of July 2025, a 30% tax rate will be applied to future earnings for superannuation balances above 3 million. In this video, we're breaking down 6 things that you should know about this new 3 million super tax, how it actually works, and why this could still affect you, even if your super balance seems modest today. The official name for this policy is Division 296. Here's how it works. If your total super balance exceeds 3 million at the end of a financial year, the investment earnings on the portion above that threshold will be taxed an additional 15% on top of the standard 15% tax already applied. It doesn't matter if you actually sold your investment or made any real gains, even unrealized gains, your so-called paper profits count. Let's bring this to life with a quick example. Meet Oscar. By the end of 2026 financial year, his total super balance is sitting at 6.9 million. He's withdrawn 120,000 and contributed 30,000 that year. After crunching the numbers, his total Division 296 earnings is 1.1, almost 1.2 million. The portion of those earnings above 3 million is 56.5%. The additional tax he will owe equals 15% of that earning. Oscar can either pay this from his personal savings or release the money directly from his super fund. And now you might be thinking, okay, but I'm not Oscar. I'll never have 3 million in super. Well, maybe not as far off as you think. Here is the first big issue. That 3 million limit is a fixed number. It doesn't rise with inflation. So what feels unreachable today could be surprisingly normal down the track. In 20 years, 3 million is worth equivalent of about 1.75 million today. In 30 years, it's closer to 1.35 million. Let's say you're 30 years old today with 120k in super, earning 100k a year. Even without promotions or extra contributions, you could easily cross the 3 million line in futures money by retirement, just from compound growth. In fact, estimates suggest about 80,000 Australians will be affected today, over 500,000 could be affected in their lifetimes, and about 1/3 of them are under 30 right now. So if you're young and steadily building your super, this rule could absolutely come into play. Number 2, you will pay tax on assets that you haven't even sold. This is where things get controversial. Under Division 296, unrealized gains, profits on investment that haven't been sold are still counted and taxed. In other words, even if the value of your assets rises on paper, but you don't actually sell them, the tax office still wants a cut. Meanwhile, if you eventually do sell those assets later and realize an actual gain, you'll pay capital gain tax again. Yes, twice. This goes against the current tax principle in Australia where we only pay capital gain tax on realized profits. So people are rightfully asking, if this logic applies to super, what's stopping the government from doing the same with other types of investments? That could be a disaster for sure. I would like to give a quick shout out to Mathjot, an online maths calculator built by engineers for engineers, which I actually co-founded. It's a clean, intuitive tool that lets you write out your calculations like a notepad, but smarter. You can define variables, use systems functions, and your entire work process stays organized and visual. Whether you're a student, engineer, or just someone like me who loves clarity when running the numbers, Mathjot makes it faster to think, write, and solve. It's free to get started, and you can use my code Irene25 to get 25% off on annual subscription. Give Mathjot a try, link in the description. Number 3, it is a form of double taxation. Let's talk fairness. This proposal effectively means that the same money could be taxed twice. First, under Division 296 when your balance grows, then again when the asset is sold and capital gain tax applies. That's a big deal for investors who are already managing complex tax strategies, and it can feel like moving goalposts for people trying to plan responsibly for retirement. No refund if your balance falls back below 3 million. Let's say your super grew rapidly one year, maybe thanks to a hot stock market. You paid your Division 296 tax, but then the market drops and your super dips back below 3 million. Do you get a refund? No. At best, you can carry the loss forward to offset future gains, but only if your balance goes back up again. After the post-pandemic boom in 2021, many super balances surged, only to fall again in 2022. Under this rule, people would have paid tax on gains they never truly received, and then just lost money. And that tax is gone. Liquidity issues. This tax hits self-managed super funds harder, especially ones holding assets like farms or business properties. Imagine you are a small business owner who's put your commercial property into your self-managed super fund. It's growing in value, but you are cash poor. Now the government wants tax on the paper gain, and you can't just sell 10% of your property to pay that bill. You might have to restructure your whole portfolio, potentially disrupting your business and incurring big transaction costs. All your accounts count toward the 3 million cap. Division 296 look at your total super balance, not just one account. That means accumulation accounts, retirement phase accounts, multiple funds you might hold, including your self-managed super fund. Even insurance payout can push you over. For example, if you receive a lump sum for a total and permanent disability TPD policy held in super, or if you inherit your spouse super after they pass, these one-off events can spike your balance and unintentionally trigger the new tax, even though you didn't earn that money in the traditional sense. So what should we do? Don't panic. Don't stop contributing to super, but do plan ahead. Here are some next steps to consider. Number 1, estimate your super balance at retirement. Go to Google search superannuation calculator, click the Money Smart tool, set inflation to 0 so you can see the balance in futures dollars. If you're well below 3 million by age 65, super is still an incredibly tax-effective way to invest. If you are set to exceed the cap, you got options. You could keep contributing to super. 30% tax on earning is still often lower than your marginal rate, and start investing outside of your super, or do a mix of both. If you're aiming for early retirement, you probably already started investing outside your super anyway. With the new rules, think about whether high growth or non-liquid assets like property still make sense in your self-managed super fund, and how to structure super so your family doesn't face unexpected tax bills from super death benefits. Whether or not Division 296 affects you today is a sign of where policy is heading and why it pays to be proactive. So what's your take on the 3 million super tax? Is it fair? Would it change how you plan your retirement? Let's talk in the comments.